Good morning, this is Mary, and I really should wait till my craft room's clean to make this video, but I was just too excited about my 12 by 12 paper storage solution I'm working on that I just couldn't wait. So if you're like me, you struggled for years on storing your 12 by 12 paper. Vertical, horizontal, what should I do with it? And I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars wasted on different methods. First, I had the iCube from overstock.com, and you might have seen, if you see my cheapest scrapbook room ever video, parts 1, 2, and 3, you'll have seen those cubes, and I had just gotten them, and they turned out to be a dud because they were way too weak to hold the weight of just even routine scrapbook supplies. So then I got this Cropper Hopper cart. It looks a lot like the hanging file folder cart that Cropper Hopper sells, but this one was designed to hold their magazine type plastic sorters that come in 8 by 11 and 12 by 12. And so I spent a lot of money buying all kinds of sorters, and the cart, once it's fully loaded with paper, on the top here was too flimsy. It doesn't, you don't want to roll it all around to, hi Murphy, you don't want to roll it to a lot of areas because it's too shaky. But yeah, I spent a lot of money on this cart and I didn't want to waste it. So the next thing that happened was the Michaels near me finally started selling Jetmax cubes, and as you can see, I've tried to organize my scrapbooks and my paper in these Jetmax cubes, and my brother Chris helped me. Thank you, Chris. We bought all sorts of cubes, and we even bought a laminate top and some glass blocks, and you made a little upper shelf with the scrap from this laminate top to kind of tie them together. If I had to arrange them over again, I would have arranged these cubbies like this horizontally, but that's a story for a different day. The problem is that the paper still isn't as accessible to me as I'd like. Looks pretty accessible, doesn't it? But I can't. My creative process is I have to see every color I have before I'm inspired, and here you kind of have to know what color you're looking for, especially with the pattern paper. This is a mess, and even in these protectors, you can see my papers are getting very beat up. And the biggest problem is that my craft room has even though it's tiny, it does have a window, and so my papers are fading horribly, and I don't like it. I don't know if the camera could pick that up. So we spend too much on our craft supplies for that. So the next thing I did, I'll show you here in just, okay, I'm back. The next thing I did was buy a 12 by 12 Jetmax cube drawer. And I thought, oh, this is brilliant. Yay! This will be the answer to all my problems. Bought all the extra file folders, which were a pretty penny. Got them home, put them in the drawer. And then look at this, you guys. I realized they didn't come with tabs, and I wondered why. The tabs won't fit in the drawers. And then, even empty, it's very hard to open. I have to pick up the drawer. You can see, let me show you. See how the bottoms are bent? There's really not a lot of extra room in here, so the folders are getting bent, and I can already tell that if I weighted this down with paper, there'd be no way I could get this drawer in and out. So this is, although I really like my Jetmax cubes, if I had any piece of advice for people buying them, it would be don't buy the 12 by 12 drawer. Also, the 3 by 3 drawers, they don't close all the way when you stack them and get a lot of weight on them. So a little caveat there. If you're really anal and your drawers have to be flush and closed, you're not going to be happy with this. But the plus sides to some Jetmax cubes is they always come out with new things, and they have really neat, sometimes some of them have really neat drawer dividers. So there's plus and minuses to the Jetmax cubes. Another piece of advice I would give is I have so many drawers, which is great, but again, I'm the type, I have to see what I have or else I don't use it. And I would have gotten more units like this one over here, where everything's out and you can see it. And also this cubby, these 3 shelves, I wondered if they'd be a good size to be useful. They're very useful, so I definitely recommend that. Anyway, just an aside on my Jetmax cubes, except they're not called Jetmax anymore. They're Remembrance cubes. Or Reflections. They're at Michael's. I can't remember what they're called. So anyway, so we know my drawer won't work. We know my vertical storage doesn't work for me. And we know my cropper hopper doesn't work. So what am I going to do? Well, I had also bought those wire cube storage units. And so I thought, maybe I'll do something with those. So I'll be right back. Let's see if I can. So my brilliant plan to overcome all of this is I'm going to repurpose that cropper hopper cart. Still going to use that because it has the wheels on the bottom and I need that. But I'm going to take the acid-free folders that I bought for my Jetmax cube and take wire, it's for like college dorm rooms and things. They're the wire bookcase builder. Rubbermaid makes some. You can get some generic. You can get them pretty expensively or pretty cheap. So do your price shopping, price comparison. I'm going to take small binder clips, the 3/4 inches. They look like this. We've all stolen those from our office. I mean, oops, we've all seen these. And then I'm going to take some cable ties, small ones, and these break very easily. They're very brittle, so you'll need to keep that in mind and use a lot of them. Murphy's gonna thinks they're a snack. And I'm going to see if I can make a file system, but let me show you the problem. The problem is that these folders need to slide on the top rails of these cubes, and as you can see, they're not the same width. So we're going to have to do some imaginative solutions. So let's see what I can come up with. And if you notice on these, the little wires are welded to one side. So you want to, when you assemble this, make sure the little wires are to the outside of the unit, so that when you hang your file folders, they don't, they have a little more room to slide, whereas if they were on the inside of the unit, this might block them a little more. Now you notice when I'm placing these clips, I'm placing them on the outside, so the widest side is facing out and it tapers in. And there's enough room, playroom with these hanging file folders, that these clips are not going to interfere with the movement of the file folders. I was also worried that the little wiry feet, wiry feet on them, these things, would interfere with this being able to sit flat, and it hasn't, and I'm very delighted. And so far, I haven't had to use any cable ties yet. This is really sturdy, and I've only got the 3 sides on it. Murphy's my OSHA supervisor, and he's making sure that the structure is secure and in no way is hazardous to the workforce here, which is me. So let me keep building, and we'll see if this is going to work. I'm installing an inner rail because we've already talked about how our hanging file folder is too narrow to use the natural dimension of the cubes as they come. So I'm going to install an inner rail so that my folders can slide. They're not going to slide a lot because of, again, these posts, but it's kind of a plus because then I could like keep them from sloshing around too much. But I'm using extra clips to kind of be a spacer. These little clips just happen to be the 3/4 of an inch narrower that we need to make our cubicle so that the hanging file folders can slide. So that was fortuitous. And so the bottom clip, you can see it down there, is used for the structure. So I already have that, and it will kind of naturally be a little bit of a stop for this to keep the bottom from sliding around. So we needed something for the top. So I put the clip on, and then I put the clip feet to a cable tie to hold it down. And if you push this forward, then you can start securing with cable ties your midline rail cube side, and this should keep it. It's not 100% secure, but you know, we're not putting this in a car and carting it anywhere. So I'm going to keep building using lots and lots of cable ties all the way down, and maybe even some on pulling to one side and then pulling to the other to keep the middle secure. And I'll keep building to show you the final product. Just kind of showing you my cable tie method. I like to take the cable tie and run it diagonally. So as these things intersect, like I might start it here, bring it up here, and then tighten it, whether it's in front of this or in back, but tighten it diagonally. So this is the bottom of my hanging file folder rail that I'm building, and I'm just going to turn it on its side and clip off these ends, and I'm just going to go up it and maybe every other one put a cable tie to keep this bar stable. Okay, I got this the cable ties along the bottom, and I put one right here on the inside midway up. But you know, I don't even think I need it. This is actually turning out to be more stable than I thought. Now, if you had a, for this gap here, to keep it spaced where you need it, if you were handy with a saw or knew someone who was, I'm sure you can get a piece of wood to be in here, at least in the corners, and keep this even more stable than my binder clips are. But I don't have that option. Plus, it's 5 in the morning, and my neighbors wouldn't really appreciate me sawing anyway. So I'm gonna go with the binder clips, and now with it back on its side, this is the bottom of it, and this is these are the sides over here. I'm going to put the final piece on. Murphy's apparently going to help me again with the wires out. These little spindles are out. I'm going to place this, and I'm going to hook my little binder clips to hold them together. And the binder clips, of course, always to the outside. I should have had this ready. So I'm going to be binder clipping like this, the two cubicles together. There we go. And I'll do that on all 4 corners, and then I'll put maybe 1 or 2 more binder ties. Okay, so as this is coming together, and as I've run out of clips, so buy 2 boxes of these, not 1, not even buy 3, but you know, I could put, especially in the bottom, 3, 1, 2, 3, but I have cable ties instead, and really this thing's really sturdy so far. But as I'm putting it together, I'm finding that this middle bar has a tendency to want to go closer, and the closer more into the box, and even though it'll still slide, it's harder to slide when it's closer. You want this 3/4 inch of a space, but you don't want a wider space here. You want to keep it no wider than 3/4 so this can slide easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put cable ties on the way up like this to hold it more towards the outside. And if I find towards the top that this keeps wanting to pop past my, like that, if it keeps wanting to pop past my clip, then I'll stagger and wrap this and this so that it stabilizes it. But you know, those cable ties are cheap, and it's time consuming and it takes patience, but you can use a million of them until you get the effect you want. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep putting my folders in to be sure my slide space stays consistent. Okay, so the cubicle is done, and I have about these, what you're looking at now is 30 hanging file folders in here. And as you can see, there's plenty of room for more. And the thing I like about it is not only is it going to hold 12 by 12 paper, but I have some hanging files of 12 by 10 paper from the old Creative Memories that I could put in here. I plan on also putting, for my Stampin' Up! Paper, I'm going to put, each folder will hold a color. So I'm going to have 12 by 12, and if I have 8.5 by 11 in that color, I'll put it in the same folder. And then also I'll put my scraps back in here too, because right now I store my scraps separately, and it's just too chaotic. I don't like looking in 3 different places for my cardstock. So it'll all be in color, and I'll just be able to grab the color and see what I have. Next step is going to be, move it, honey, this flimsy cropper hopper cart. It's a temporary solution because although I want something with wheels for my cube, this thing is flimsy and it's too tall to fit under. Please don't look at my messy. Okay, look. My messy craft table. It's from IKEA. I can't remember what the style is, but I'm not going to. I should raise it up maybe ½ inch, and then this would roll under it. But it takes quite some doing because you have to take everything off. Then you have to unscrew the legs to make it taller, and it's kind of a pain. So I'm not going to go through that pain. But for now, if I put this under the see that bar under there, if I just kind of tilt it and put that under the bar, I'll be able to slide it most way out, and then I'll be able to slide it back in when I'm not using my craft paper, and it will be sheltered from that direct sunlight. Whereas this, the window hits it every day, so even with my blinds shut. So I'm going to pop out this shelf here and plop in my cubicle, my new hanging file folder cubicle. Okay, so here it is all put together. I had to slide this cubicle in from the side, and this is where the metal shelf used to be. I'm going to get tabs from Office Depot, because these take the standard hanging file folder tabs, and I will get my paper organized. And I kind of, even though a lot of you have much better paper storage solutions, this is kind of making lemons out of lemonade for myself and those of us who bought that and paid a lot of money for that, and paid a lot of money for these hanging file folders just to find out it wouldn't work, and then paid a lot of money for this cropper hopper cart to find out it didn't work, and paid a lot of money for those upright vertical holders to find out it didn't work. You know, this is kind of me salvaging all these solutions and putting them together so that I'm not throwing away the money I've already spent. My plan is to store the paper in order of color, according that matches the color coach, so that when I'm using the color coach to design, I can quickly go straight to the paper that I want. So I'm so glad I got this color coach. I can't wait to use it. Thank you.